Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I'm not gay. I'll make this short. I know that sometimes my voice affects the speakers. Okay, for people who listen to my videos a lot, I suggest you buy a cheap pair of speakers so you can listen to the videos that might have a little bit more poor sound quality than the other ones. So, a huge part of the problem here is that they want to be the center of the story, right? The European elite, the rich Jews, rabbis, the churches, the LGBT community, what have you. For those of you who are social norm fanatics, maybe you're in a fraternity, maybe you went to boarding school and you liked it or something, maybe you went to private school, a very strict military academy like private school and you liked it, or whatever your issue is. Maybe you're a groupie who wore a Letterman jacket when you were younger. And I'm not trying to insult you, I'm trying to help you see your mistake in a way that makes it clear that you know that you're wrong and that I know that you're wrong. So, if you were reading the Bible and the Romans and the Pharisees and the Jews started saying that they want to be the center of attention in the story and they want Christ to do things their way, you would think it was stupid, right? You would think it's very, very stupid. How much more if it's not a fairy tale with miracles that didn't occur, but it's actually the Son of God, the Royal African Falcon top martial artist? Pretty straightforward. Now let's separate ourselves a little bit from this because sometimes the racial issues cloud people's judgment. You'll see what I mean shortly. So think about it in terms of Somalians. Imagine if Somalians try to convince you that the Africans who are related to Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Tyson weren't greater warriors than they are. Okay. In terms of on average, on the highest part of the spectrum, what have you. No offense to Somalians again. You'll see why this is necessary shortly if you don't already. You would think that's stupid, right? Okay, so if the tribes of, the Chris Rock tribes, the, skinny Bushmen, what have you, they're obviously not the core martial order of all of the human race, right? So if we went to, East Africa, right, Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalians, Sudanese, modern Egyptians, for example, Northeast Africa, North Africa, went all the way down, past Tanzania to South Africa. You see all these people are skinnier black people, right? They're approaching the Middle East, they're approaching Europe, they're skinnier. They're skinnier, but it's more than just being skinny. They're less athletic, right? A Bushman is not Sugar Ray, he's not Michael Jordan, typically speaking, right? Aborigines aren't Michael Jordan. I'm not saying this to insult them. Okay. As you go toward West Africa, you get people who are everything from more Sugar Ray-like to more Mike Tyson-like. If you do your research, you'll see that the Igbos are the most just of them, historically speaking. And even if they scramble to cover that up now, it doesn't change the fact that I'm right. And they're, my top martial arts challenge and the wordplay behind Kuro Obi black belt makes it clear, right? Obi is Igbo scrambled. Obi in Igbo means King Heart Hut Essence Center Temple Core. Obi is Igbo spelled backwards, mind you, not just scrambled. And, the Kuro Obi means black belt. Kuro Obi means black belt in Japanese, and so you have this kind of continuity. Also, chi, right? The chi energy, the ki energy, okay? I think they call it prama or prana in India, right? In the yoga systems, the Hindu system rather. And you see that there's that continuity of that idea and the etymological, right? The linguistic evidence. Pretty straightforward. So it points right to the Igbos, not to Ethiopians or Somalians. The Somalians just say, we don't care about that. We want to be the center of attention. That would be stupid, right? It's stupid to live a lie that is so profoundly false, because this has to do with why we're here, has to do with God, has to do with love and family and so on and so forth. It's stupid to live that lie. It's like Willow Osgood, Frodo Baggett say, no, it's us, right? It's stupid. Now, it's also even more dumb when people see through it and when you're forcing your breeding cycles on people. So when you look at what they're doing, what they're insisting on is outrageous. And the people of their groups who are smarter than the people who are having their way here must hate them for it. Think about it in terms of slavery. Okay, for those of you who are still struggling with that idea. All that manifest destiny talk, that right of discovery, right? okay, where they said, hey, we're Christians so we can do what we want, right? It blew up in their face. They look so stupid. All that buck breaking, the homosexual rapes during slavery, those who are aware of it, they have a very low opinion of them. Very low. Okay, them acting like arrogant idiots, insisting on being the center of attention, has them as the most disgraced groups in the last 500 years, to keep it very simple. And some would argue in all of human history. Just that fast. As they insisted on being the center of attention, as they lied about God, and kids are being raped in their churches, and all kinds of horrible things are happening. And they look so dumb. To do it because you think you get respect or you're exerting sexual power is a sick joke. You may as well be a priest who got arrested for raping like 20 children, arguing that that's okay because you have sexual power. That is stupid as hell. So regardless of who would beat up who or who would shoot who, should Somalians and Ethiopians argue that they're the bell that rings the loudest when it comes to martial arts and not Nigerians? No, that's stupid, right? And probably the average Somalian or Ethiopian could probably beat up the average Chinese person, average Japanese person, average white person, what have you. So how much more retarded is it when people like the typical priest or preacher are arguing that they're more religious and more right about spiritual matters than the most serious monotheistic martial artists in human history? That's stupid, right? That's very, very stupid. They look stupid as hell. We think of Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as more deep than the average priest or preacher. And their spectrum isn't impressive. It's pretty straightforward. So anything but admitting that I'm Christ is a stupid mistake. If you don't understand that, please watch this video again and take notes. Try to present a counter argument if you can. I guarantee you I'm right. And I guarantee you there are people who are white and Jewish, ladies and gentlemen, and LGBT, ladies and gentlemen, who know that I'm right about this. And some people are aware of this case who are very angry that the governing class hasn't conceded. Okay? Now, what's the worst case scenario? You think if they compensated me and worked around me, I started bragging and said, yes, I got paid and yay, and I told you so. So what? There's a bunch of obnoxious people bragging about getting money all over the world. And you'll be hard-pressed to find a single governing class person who doesn't agree with that statement. Just, focus your OCD on something else, right? It's that simple. The clear-cut decision is to compensate me and work around me at least. To try to tell me what to do and sexually harass me every day. I forgot to bring that up. They're sexually harassing me every day, trying to make it so I'm gay. They fume me and poison me, and it causes me to sound gayish. And they change my speech patterns covertly with technologies. And after the fact, they've changed my old videos. They've changed all of my videos. It's pretty straightforward that what they're doing is a mistake. It's so straightforward, especially when we're talking about dating, that it's even called a miss. First part of the word miss, take. That's how clear-cut it is. It is clear-cut that you shouldn't cheat the top martial artists, right? The sword, the edge, the blade, the cut, clear-cut. And it's a mistake. It's a mistake. Missed alpha key, right? Chi, key. Missed a alpha key. Mistake. A mistake. Thank you.